the first couple rounds are the rounds to study your opponent, like every fighter does. But he found the opportunity and took advantage of it. Why not?
And there's a lot of talks right now about, Ennis. How do you see that fight? Do you think it can get done?
Look, it could get done anytime. We're just ready for anybody, but we got a lot of options. Fundoras are mandatory, so we would love to take that one too. Spence was here too. Charlo was here too. Boots is here too. He wants it. So any of those big fights could happen. We're ready for any of them, man. We're ready for anything.
Robert, great to see you, man.
Thanks.
Been a while. Hey, I know you expected him to win, but did you expect what you saw tonight?
I was thinking 8 or 9 rounds because I did expect for a knockout, but I thought 8 or 9 rounds. But he found that opportunity and took advantage of it.
Yeah, I asked Vergil if he was out on his feet because it looked like he was out on his feet.
No, he was out. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I came in with a stool like I always do. If I see somebody in danger, I came in with a stool and I hold him and I set him down, and he was still out when I came in.
And for the referee to notice that right away.
The ref did a great job. The ref did a great job. He noticed that. But yeah, when I came in, he was still hurt, so I put him in. Obviously sat him down, and then his team came in, and I walked away. But that was the first thing I do, and he was still very hurt.
Was there a key punch in there? Because he seemed to be
it was the right hook. It was the right hook, kind of dropping the hand, right hook to the side. Yeah.
Which fight do you want next for Vergil, Robert?
There's so many. Honestly, our mandatory is the WBC Fundora, but he's got other plans with his fight against Thurman in January or February, so that might take a little bit longer. So we might have to take something else before that. Spence was here, Charlo was here, Boots was here. There's a lot of big fights for Vergil. I think Vergil right now became the fighter to challenge. Well, he wasn't here, but
champion.
Well, he already has something lined up, I believe. A unification fight. So there's so many fights out there. I think we could do 5-6 fights that are going to be huge. I think this is a perfect moment for Vergil, Mexican American, to become the pay-per-view star, the one everybody wants to challenge because it's the biggest fight for them. I think we got options. If it's Boots, beautiful, because that's a huge fight. But so is Spence, so is Charlo, so is Fundora, so is the Puerto Rican, what's his name? Xander Sayas. They're all huge fights, and that makes that Mexican American become a superstar.
What about avenging your brother's loss, Mikey, at Cowboy Stadium with him and Spence?
I wouldn't even see it like that. Honestly, it's not like I love Spence. He's a great person. I was telling everybody earlier that it's a fight that, if it happens, we'll be doing whatever it takes, but it will hurt me because he's a great person. He's always respected me. He's always been he's a family man. He's a great person. It would hate me to see him hurt when Vergil knocked him out. And I know Vergil's gonna do his work, and we're not trying him to do that. But it is gonna hurt me because he's a great person. It's not like I want revenge or anything, nothing like that.
That's his dream fight, though. He said.
And they would be awesome, man. It would be awesome.
Would it be hard, Coach, for you guys to go with someone other than Spence? It's almost like a bait and switch. All this effort has been paid about Ennis, and now there's talk that maybe it's not going to be Ennis.
Well, if it's Ennis or not, like I said, I already mentioned, there's like 5 names out there that are huge in the division. So we got options. We're not chasing one. Everybody, it looks like everybody is chasing us now. We're the name. We're the one everybody wants to fight. Charlo, we kind of crossed on the hallway, and Charlo started challenging us too. So Charlo's also available. There's a lot of fights out there, man. There's a lot of big fights, and the names are big enough for Vergil to become the next pay-per-view star.
Coach, question for you. So during the week, I was watching you in the background while Vergil's manager was talking or Vergil was talking, and when Boots came up, I could just see you behind him, like shaking your head. You were adamant, like that's not gonna happen. Where did that come from? What gives you so much insight, or where does the insight come from for you to believe that's not gonna happen?
Because look, it already happened twice, but the first time Boots announced he can't make 147 anymore. He's moving to 154. So then we're already talking about it. They're already negotiating. And then when everything's pretty much already almost finalized, he decides, I still want to stay at welterweight. So that dropped everything. So we got to move on. So he fought one more time at welterweight, and then now he's at 154. And I know for a fact he told his promoter he was gonna need 2 tune-up fights, and he just went through 1. And he was gonna take 2 tune-up fights. I think Eddie, the Zone, are kind of pushing him, kind of forcing him. I'm not saying he's not gonna fight. He will fight because he's a great fighter, man. He's probably the best one out of all the group that we're talking. Maybe not the biggest name, because you know we got somebody like Errol Spence,
Crawford.
You know Crawford. You know Fundora is the man. You know right now. You know the WBC champion. But I think he is a huge name. So it'll be a big fight. But I truly believe that's why I've been saying it, because I was told he wanted 2 tune-up fights, and he already got 1. So he might still want another one. But look, the fight doesn't have to be next. It could take a few fights from now, and the fight could be even bigger. You know, get Vergil some other, the other fighters that we were mentioning. It would just make it a bigger star, make him a bigger star and a bigger fight.
What about Crawford?
One follow-up question for you, Coach. So, obviously all those names are available. The fight's being lined up with Boots, but there's still a fighter. There's still, that competitive fire in Vergil. He still calls out Crawford. After seeing how Crawford, handled himself with Canelo, do you have any, and I know it's your guy, but any hesitancy or any let's hold off on that fight, or hey, Crawford's ready, we're ready right now?
Crawford's a great fighter, man. But look, I would love to fight Crawford, but Crawford is with that win, he has nothing to prove anymore. He doesn't need to challenge himself against nobody, a young fighter, somebody 10, 11 years younger than him. He doesn't need to. He got a big win against Canelo, so if he wants to make history, he maybe fights at 160, becomes champion there, and becomes a 6 division champion, which Oscar De La Hoya and Packer are the only ones, and maybe tries to become undisputed there, to be the only 4 division undisputed, just to make history. I don't think he'll come down to 154.
Could he go up though? Could Ortiz go up to 160?
Yeah, we go up to 160, but
willing to do that.
But we got too much at 154 still. So you know what I mean? But we are willing to go to 160. It wouldn't be a bad idea.
He's a big kid.
Vergil's huge. He's strong. You guys seen it. He's strong. So he could definitely compete at 160.
Hey, Coach, how do you feel about Vergil taking over the Mexican holidays, Cinco de Mayo, Independence? How do you feel about that?
There was a time where Mayweather had those. Then Canelo started. Canelo's, might not have many fights left. So Vergil could be the one, man. Vergil could be the one. He showed it tonight. He's seen it. All the fighters are after him. We could do double headers with Vergil and Bam together. Imagine.
Fire.
That would be insane.
You should be a promoter, Robert.
We could do that, right? I'm gonna tell Rick. You gotta do this. You gotta make this shit happen. Bam's last fight. On his contract, so we could definitely do something.
Hey, Robert, real quick, there's a big fight coming up in a couple weeks, Haney and Norman Jr. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Oh, that's right. It's going to be over there in Saturday with us.
Yeah.
That's how you forget.
That's going to be a good fight. Haney's a great boxer, man. I think he's going to try to win by decision. And I know. I faced what's his name?
Norman.
Norman. He's strong. I heard. I was there. I heard those punches. He's strong, but I don't think Haney's going to stand to an exchange. I think Haney's going to box and try to pull off that decision.
Robert, so I spoke with Boots, and Boots said that was what Vergil was supposed to do. And I asked him how he sees the matchup going. He said it's going to go however I want it to go. What are your thoughts on that?
He could say that, whatever he wants. Believe me, his fight was supposed to go the way he fought because of who he fought. Vergil fought a solid guy. Vergil fought a real guy. He fought, this guy was the real deal. It wasn't supposed to go like that. I knew, I had the feeling we were going to win by knockout, but it was going to take 8 or 9 rounds. It was going to be a challenge. Vergil made it look a lot easier. Boots' fight was supposed to go the way it went, not ours. Ours went like that because Vergil's just a bad motherfucker.
Awesome.
Robert, quick question. I'm looking at Vergil. Vergil has star written all over him, and then as David Benavidez. It seems like you guys are going to be in competition. Who's going to take over the mantle as the next great Mexican star? How do you feel about that?
Look, Benavidez is a great fighter, but I think he's in a division where there's not those. There is big fights, but not in the level where here in the States. There's Bivol and there's Better Gift. that are huge fights, but they don't have that stardom here in the States, like Spence, like Boots, like Crawford. You know what I mean? Like Honduras, they're all from the States. You know, and Vergil is Mexican American, so I think that's the difference. Benavidez is one of my favorites. He's a dude. You know, I think he beats all those guys that I mentioned. I think he beats all those guys. But I just think that's what he's missing. The opponents that are gonna bring that big name. Those fights that we're talking about for Benavidez are huge in Saudi. They're huge because Turkey will pay for them, not because they're gonna be huge on pay-per-view, because those names are not too. They're big in boxing, but not in the world. I think the names we're talking about here at 154 here in the States are much bigger for like pay-per-view numbers and attendances and all that.